going to show you how to make this sliding dovetail joint. These are the tools I'm going to use. I've got a piece of wood, hardwood, with an angle on the end. I've got a tri-square. I'm only doing a small example here, so I'm going to be using a dovetail saw, a marking gauge, pencil, marking knife and some chisels, and of course a bench hook. This is going to be the side that's got the groove in it, and this will be the member that we dovetail in. The first thing I want to do is set my marking gauge to no more than half the thickness of the component, so we don't reduce its strength too much. Mark out roughly where our joint's going to be. I'll put it roughly there, and then we'll just scribe a line to the depth that the dovetail is going to go. Now, to mark where this component's going to go, first of all I'll mark it in pencil just to get an idea of how wide it is. And so we need to form our slot in between those two lines, and I'll square them down the front so they intersect with the marked line. So we must keep our dovetail within this area. Now I can bring in the angled guide and I can create the dovetail so it meets at the marked line and to the width of the component, like so. And I hope you can see that's all within the size of the work. Now I need to square across the lines, which will be the open side of the dovetail. Now I just change these knife lines into a knife wall using the chisel. In rough work we wouldn't bother with this. And guiding the saw to the lines that we previously put on, and you can bring the block in if you like as a little bit of a guide. So start the saw cut first, just a little bit. Bring your guide in, lean the saw over. Now we just need to remove the waste from the middle. I'm going to use chisels on this occasion because it's not very wide, but a router plane would be ideal. Don't try and take too much at a time, because obviously being a dovetail, as you get down the chips are wider than the gap at the top. So you need them to be narrow enough so that they just bend and come through. As you can see, I'm virtually there on this side. Just need to meet it from the other side and take down the high point in the middle down so it's flat end to end. When it's completed, it looks just as though you've used a router to do it. Do remember to check with a straight edge that you've got no wobble in there, no bump in the middle, that the straight edge touches the bottom of the groove on both sides. And now all we need to do is prepare the dovetail on the end of the other component that will slide into this. So on the other component, we use the marking gauge with the same setting just to scribe around the two faces. I'm just going to deepen the gauge lines with the knife. And then we can use the chisel to pare away the slope of the dovetail. If it was much deeper, then I'd use a saw to cut down to the shoulder line. Sneaking up to the perfect fit is the way to go. So after a little bit of fettling, so the sliding dovetail joint, a piece of cake. Give it a go.